I am in Hawaii right now, which seems like a very fitting place to talk about what I'm going to talk about today. As everyone on the whole planet knows by now, Donald Trump, there was another attempt made on his life. If you've been watching my videos, and I'm the only person on any channel on YouTube or anywhere that's been talking about this over and over again. If you check out my videos, I've talked about the multiple attempts on Trump, that we are in a secret war right now, that this has been kept secret. Everybody's starting to see the truth now. I hope that if anything comes out of this latest attempt by him, people will start waking up and seeing that they have been trying to delete him multiple times, and that is because they have got an agenda that they are working, and he is causing big problems for them. In my other videos, I've talked about how he snuck in to the White House. The NSA helped him with the middleman attacks that were going on, leveled the playing field. He got into the White House, and that has been causing big problems for the deep state for a very long time. I talked about how Obama was setting up the United States to be invaded. In this video right here, go check it out. He was setting up America for Hillary Clinton, so when she got in, she was going to knock them all down. I talk about how while Obama was president, he weakened the military by firing 200 of the top level officers. I talked about how he took Apache attack helicopters away from state militias, allowing them not to be able to defend themselves against incoming UN tanks and personnel carriers. I talked about how he used Jade Helm exercises in various states, especially Texas, which is under invasion right now. They figured that Texas was going to cause them a big problem, so they ran Jade Helm 15 exercises to practice urban warfare tactics in the United States using artificial intelligences. I talked about how Obama wrote in drone strikes, making them legal in America for terrorism. And as you can see by now, they're calling PTA mothers terrorists for showing up at meetings to disagree with the sexually explicit materials that the schools have been showing their children. And another thing that I was starting to talk about as far as Obama weakening the United States for an invasion was the deletion of Antonin Scalia. They deleted Antonin Scalia in 2016, just a few months before the election. They tried to sneak Merrick Garland in because Antonin Scalia was a big constitutional Supreme Court justice. He was also a big Second Amendment Supreme Court justice. They were intending to get rid of the Constitution, get rid of the Second Amendment, so that's why poor Antonin Scalia had to go. I will talk about how they deleted him in another episode. We've got a lot to talk about today, but when you look at the Antonin Scalia deal, that whole thing was fishy and suspicious right from the beginning. I will get into that in more depth in my next videos, but I have repeatedly talked about how they have made multiple attempts to take out Trump, and because of Trump, he stopped what they were trying to do. The plan was to start a limited nuclear conflict with a country, most probably North Korea, and then once that happened, the United States was going to be a perpetual war. They were going to open up the borders. All of the Americans were going to be beset by waves and waves of illegal immigrants coming into the country, viruses. I can't even talk about it on YouTube, but the other viruses we were going to be kept in a perpetual sick state. We were going to be given vaccine passports. Our movements were going to be stopped and severely limited. our Second Amendment rights were going to be taken away. And with those drone strikes that I was talking about earlier and everything else that Obama did, that was going to, people were going to have their guns taken. And if they didn't comply, they were going to be deleted. And if judges and generals and local law enforcement did not do what they were supposed to do and told to do and attack and disarm and round up Americans, what was going to happen is they were just going to be droned. They were going to use drones to take out any opponents to what they were told to do. If they didn't do it, those drones were also going to be used to take out people that weren't doing what they were told as far as giving up their guns and peacefully being allowed to round up and trained off to different detention centers. So it's fitting that I'm here in Hawaii because this is where the event took place in which the United States was going to be in perpetual fake war with North Korea. Because Donald Trump was in the office at the time and not Hillary Clinton, their plans to fake a small nuclear conflagration was stopped. Well, basically what happened is in 2018, it was planned, but because Trump was in the White House, what they did was they went with that plan anyway. They were going to blame him for it happening and then try to take him out through impeachment and other ways and install their puppets into the White House to continue the operation. Trump getting into the White House really screwed up their plans, but they continued on anyway and went to do the incident. You will see that in 2018, a lot of weird things happened. It started off on the 8th of January when SpaceX put a top secret satellite into space. And then immediately the news, for some reason, was very interested in it and was talking about how it was a failure. I think also SpaceX might have put out that story that it was a failure as well. Then a couple days later, the Clintons happened to come to Hawaii, to certain islands here. And then on the 13th of January, a missile warning went off that said that it was not a drill, that there was an incoming missile to seek shelter. But then that detonation never materialized. What we're finding out later now is that a missile was launched from a submarine close to the Hawaiian Islands. The SpaceX satellite that was put in space a couple days before took it out with probably some type of directed energy weapon. And then the missile alert system did go off, but the threat was neutralized and nothing was said because the implications of that, the deep state did not now want that getting out because they didn't want anybody checking into as why a missile had been launched and how it had been stopped. And also Donald Trump also did not say anything because they had plans for many years into the future to slowly roll back the insurgency created that had been started many decades before him. They needed more time to start rolling everything back. The FBI that had been corrupted, on and on and on. So, in my other videos, I've been talking about how they have been attempting to get Trump because he has stopped. If Trump had not got into the White House, we would all be, the plan is depopulation for the elites. We would have been in a very different situation if Trump had not gotten into the White House. He stopped them right at the goal line from doing what they wanted to do, which was to take over the world. Once America falls, the rest of the other countries easily fall. Look at Canada. Justin Trudeau has already given up that whole country to the elites and the deep staters. Look at France. Macron has stopped a peaceful transition of power with real votes. This just happened a couple of days ago. New Zealand gave up their rights to be able to defend themselves. America is the last linchpin in a new world order society that they have been working toward for probably 100 years or more. And the NSA and other high-level military generals stopped them from doing this within them of right on the goal line, and they have been trying to take him out ever since. What happened yesterday is another example of them trying to take him out, and they came very close to doing it. That's one of multiple deletion attempts that they have pulled on him. If you check out this video here, I talk about how they fired a missile off of Whidbey Island area at Air Force One while he was on his way to Singapore. That missile was defeated by an F-16 with a direct energy weapon on it. That missile was taken down. And while President Trump was in Scotland, a Secret Service agent lost his life. There was some weird circumstances around that, something about somebody paragliding into that area. On and on. The missile attempt, the Secret Service agent passing away in Scotland. There was also a time when Donald Trump did not show up at a D-Day ceremony because there was another attempt being set up to get him. So he has stopped cold their plans to take over the world by getting in the White House and taking over America. And they have been trying to stop him ever since. He caught them off guard when he got into the White House in 2016. They came up with fake impeachments. They tried to threaten the Electoral College members to stop him from getting in. They tried their own 25th Amendment coup with the media and with Rosenstein, who was the FBI director at the time. They tried to weaponize Mueller, who has been weaponized many times before, to come up with a special counsel to take him out. He found nothing. On and on and on. They have been blasting him on the media, and they have been constantly 24 hours, 7 days a week for the last 8-9 years, spreading hate and talking about him, getting people riled up and pissed off at him. And this is done on purpose. So hopefully some lone nut will do something, or they can now have someone to blame when they attempt their multiple attempts on Trump. There's another attempt that I will speculate on. There's not a whole lot of information on it. Seems like an FBI agent was able to get into Trump Tower, up the elevator, but was stopped. That is speculation. There's been a lot of chatter about that, but there has been not a whole lot of information out on that. And now we see with the last attempt on him, we see, if you look at my other videos on Rumble and on YouTube, I've got more on Rumble because I'm able to talk more about things on Rumble than YouTube. I basically am doing an assassination tech where I talk about how when groups want to delete world leaders, how they do it. They peel away levels of security, layers of security, and then they make their move. And it looks like that's what happened yesterday. It's so weird, isn't it, that this guy was able to climb up on a rooftop that was still within firing range of Trump and get some shots off before he was neutralized. There are people on the ground that said they saw him up there and told law enforcement and Secret Service, and yet nothing was done. There were snipers in other high areas, but supposedly they didn't see him until after the shots were fired. When you look at this whole thing is weird. Every elevated position within bullet fire shot of sniper shot of Trump should have had Secret Service guys on it. to block anybody from being able to get a shot at him. The Secret Service is supposed to take all elevated positions and check for fields of fire. And what we're seeing now is this guy got up there, had a field of fire at Trump, and was able to get his shots off before he was deleted. It's almost as if that he was allowed to get these shots off, and then he was neutralized by the Secret Service, so then he could not talk until he could not be captured and tell everybody who was his paymaster and who was behind the whole thing. So this is suspicious. We also have Biden writing putting out a statement talking about putting Trump in the bullseye. Not we need to put him in our crosshairs and focus on him. He specifically said put him in a bullseye. Now the left is trying to make up excuses as to why this is fake and being hateful as ever. They are the real fascists. They are the liberal neo-Nazis. They are the gullible, unintelligent, easily duped persons in sections of our society, sadly. And they are the ones that have been spewing hate against Trump for many, many years. There was X, or what formerly known as Twitter, is just a horrible place to go, where they're crying that how could he miss and all this stuff. Absolutely horrible. The drones that have been created by the propaganda machine in the United States. But I'm the only one that's talking about this. I'm the only one that's been constantly, over and over again, putting out videos talking about how they have been made multiple attempts on him. Even there's another speculative attempt where they tried to get an airplane close to Air Force One while he was in it. Again, there's not a whole lot of details on that, but it has been mentioned by intelligence agencies. So there you go. This is just one more attempt on President Trump of the many attempts, because he has stopped them from taking over the United States. They have done multiple assassination attempts on him, and when that didn't work in the past, like in 2018 with the missile shot at Air Force One, they've used FBI agents, they've used other things to try to get at him. And now that those haven't worked, they have tried to impeach him, tried to get him 25th Amendmented. But now they're trying the lawfare tactic. And another time where they attempted to delete him was, check out this video where I talk about how they maneuvered, paid off corrupt, nasty, filthy, dirty judges to try to get him put in jail with BS kangaroo court deals. And then after they were going to convict him, they were going to strip him of his Secret Service protection, put him in Rikers Island, and have him deleted there. He is unstoppable. They have been unable to stop him. Thank God that these bullets missed. I know there's a lot of very filthy, nasty fascists out there that are upset that this attempt did not work, but we're going to see this movie isn't over yet. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see how this all unfolds and how everybody gets their uppances. So check out my channel, subscribe, hit the like button. I am being shadow banned. I am the only person in the world talking about this, about all the multiple attempts that have been going on with him. And the show is not over. Just sit back and enjoy the show. Thank God that President Trump was not hurt. This is suspicious. This was set up, and we're going to see how this all unfolds. This is one. It's where we are at in our political system right now. We are back in the 60s when the CIA deleted JFK, deleted Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and RFK. That's where we're at. They are in desperation mode. Everything that they've tried has not worked. And thank God this attempt did not work as well. And we're going to see what happens next. We're going to see all of the traitors getting their due rewards. So please like, share, and subscribe. I am being shadow banned. And I will see you on the next Ultra Top Secret. Enjoy the show, and God is great.